And to talk more about Johnson's visit to India, joining us live via Skype by Mr. Niranjan Marjani, who is a political analyst and an international relations researcher from India. Mr. Niranjan, first of all, how can you describe this sudden visit by the British Prime Minister to India? Is it only for business agreement as it appeared, or whether for a different matter?
This is not a sudden visit because Boris Johnson was supposed to visit India about 2 years back when he became Prime Minister of UK. But at that time, due to the COVID-19 pandemic, he couldn't visit. And also, his visit was important for both UK as well as for India because he wanted a trade deal post-Brexit, and India was also looking to strengthen its relations with the UK. So this visit was actually long due, and I think this was a very important visit when we consider it from the current perspective, especially from the perspective of the Russia-Ukraine conflict.
Mr. Niranjan, so India, yes, likewise China, Asia giants, both they abstain to condemn Russia in the United Nations Security Council. Based on what? Neutrality or Russia alliance more important?
If we consider India's abstention, then yes, India has not taken sides, and I think that has been India's stand in any conflict. India has not really sided with, the polar politics, either the bipolar or unipolar politics. India is more concerned about protecting its interests. And even in the past, at the time when Russia annexed Crimea, India had abstained from voting. So India's stand is not surprising. And about India-Russia relations, then yes, India is dependent on Russia for arm imports. But if we consider the events immediately after the war started, then we can see in the past 2 months, India has had a lot of engagements with the foreign leaders, and most of them have been with the leaders of the Western countries. And just one engagement with Russia when Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov visited India in March. So we can see also, yes.
Based on the idea that the historical background of India, they are kind of linked to the British Empire. So after this visit, do you think that India is going to compromise for its status within the West and East of Europe?
I don't think it's going to compromise, but also it's true that for India, it is important to focus on its own strategic interests, and at present, to consider what exactly are the challenges. So for India, China is a bigger challenge, and maybe India and the Western countries, they differ on these issues. For US, UK and NATO and European countries, maybe Russia is a bigger challenge, but for India, particularly in the neighborhood and in the Indo-Pacific region, China is a bigger strategic challenge. So India's responses have been based on these challenges and protecting these interests in the neighborhood, as well as to protect its outreach to Southeast Asia and in the other parts of the Indo-Pacific region. So that's why we can see India has been cooperating more with Western countries, in fact, in the past 2 months. Because if we consider, even India has Prime Minister Modi held virtual summits with the US President Joe Biden and Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison. Similarly, Japanese Prime Minister also visited India, and now UK Prime Minister visited India just today. So India has been engaging with Western countries a lot in this past 2 months, which explains its strategic interest, and which actually points out that although it is dependent on Russia for arms, it is not really averse to consider its putting its interests first when it comes to the national security.
Perfectly
so that's how I look at this visit.
Mr. Niranjan Marjani joined me live from India. Thank you so much for your explanation.
Thank you.